and welcome. This is Blairgowrie High School reporting for BBC News School Report. Today's top headlines: the latest budget, the death of Elizabeth Taylor, the Japanese tsunami. And now over to Tom.
On Wednesday the 23rd of March, the Chancellor, George Osborne, announced his latest budget. So what are the main points of the budget? Fuel duty is down by 1 pence a litre, which the Treasury claims to lower the cost of filling the average car by at least £3. But even so, most people are unsure that it is changed for the good. Also, George Osborne has told the BBC that in the next 6 weeks fuel duty was going to be going up by 6 pence, but he has cancelled that. The tax-free personal allowance will go up to £8,105, but that only means a £48 tax cut. Mr. Osborne has also failed to say that in 14 days 750,000 people will become high-rate taxpayers, with some families losing over £500. Pupils from Blairgowrie High School took part in the BBC School News Report survey recently. Of the pupils who took part, 39% knew someone who had lost their job. If our friends, our parents, are unemployed, then the tax cut doesn't even matter. Now over to Sarah.
A Japanese earthquake and tsunami has caused distress and grief to people in Japan. The death toll is said to be about 9,000, with 16,000 still reported missing. A few days after the major earthquake and tsunami hit, a police spokesman from one of the hardest hit areas, Miyagi, said 250 thefts have been reported in 10 days since the disaster hit. Around £75,000 worth of goods have been stolen. The police are determined to cut the growing petty theft and will even put an extra 100 officers on patrol. Some of the reported incidents involve a man breaking into a cash machine, people stealing petrol from cars, and taking damaged items from damaged stores and houses. I think it is appalling that people are trying to benefit from this disaster. Now over to Sean.
Sadly, acting sensation Elizabeth Taylor has passed away in Los Angeles at the age of 79. She was an inspiration to many during her career, which spanned from 1942 to 2011, a staggering 69 years of show business. She's always had problems with health during her life, because it was only in 2004 doctors diagnosed her with congestive heart disease. Also during her lifetime, she has had both hips replaced, she's beaten skin cancer, she's had a brain tumour, diabetes, seizures and a stroke. It is believed she has suffered from 70 illnesses and had 100 operations, 20 of them were serious. Through her career, she has starred in many great films, but she's best remembered for her starring as Cleopatra, which was released in 1963. Apart from acting, she's had a colourful life. She's been married 8 times, once to a US Senator named John Warner and to Richard Burton, who acted as Anthony in Cleopatra. She was awarded 2 Oscars for her roles in Butterfield 8, which was released in 1960, and also Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which was released in 1966. For me, I personally think she will be remembered for years to come as the glorious actress she was, because she was on our screens for 7 decades. She will be sorely missed.
It was fun when Alison, Craig and Simon came to film and interview us.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? I enjoyed interviewing them.
Yes, it was good to know that all of the people we interviewed got scared in their job.
I enjoyed finding out which programmes Craig had filmed. Which was your favourite one?
My favourite show that Craig had filmed was Tea in the Park. What did you find the most interesting?
Learning about what Simon did. I found that very interesting.
That's good. It's quite bad how only sometimes Simon could see his family, isn't it?
Yes, I find it really sad. I mean, I would be proud of my dad if he were travelling to conferences all over the world, but I would also be scared for him if it was a dangerous place to be. It would be a good job to have, don't you think?
Yes. What did you find interesting about Simon?
I like learning about his job. My favourite production of his is the inquiry into the war in Iraq, and Back to the Studio.
Hello, this is Ashton and Ailey reporting William.
Bullying is an issue that worries young people today. It is a physical and verbal action that a lot of young people are dealing with at home and at school. Some people are getting bullied for no apparent reason, and others may be getting bullied for being different. Example, the colour of their skin, their size, and maybe their name. There are different types of bullying, such as verbal, physical, and cyberbullying. This is getting more and more common, and a lot more people are getting affected, and it has to stop.
There's a lot of bullying on television, but it doesn't tend to be very realistic. They deal with things all wrong. On Glee, Kurt was getting bullied. He got thrown in dumpsters and bullied because of his sexuality choice. This led to him being moved to an all-boys school nearby. The creator, Ryan Murphy, says the storyline came not from him, but from the actor Chris Colfer himself. In real life, people may not be able to move to schools because they might not be close enough to one, or it might cost money.
We interviewed pupils of Blairgowrie High School. One of our questions was, what do you think of bullying? And one of our pupils said, I think it's mean and it's not fair on the person that's getting bullied just because they're different.
We interviewed the head of the department about the bullying policy at Blairgowrie High School, and he said how the school deals with bullying. First of all, they get a form from the teacher who is dealing with the names and descriptions of what happens. They speak to the victim and the bully to hear their sides of the story. They phone parents to think of a suitable punishment of either break, lunchtime or after school detention. If the situation is really bad, they will take further action and exclude the pupil.
Overall, we think bullying should be stopped once and for all.
We interviewed Mrs. Gatehouse about her experiences with bullying.
Mrs. Gatehouse, can we interview you about bullying? What type of bullying was it?
I was quite lucky. The type of bullying I experienced was mainly verbal. Nobody ever hit me. People did things like calling me fat, which I wasn't. They made a fool of my last name, which was Brown. And on one occasion, they pulled a mobile blackboard in front of me because they said I was very ugly and they didn't want to look at me.
Well, how did you feel?
I felt very anxious. I felt very sad that people thought that about me. And I also felt quite strongly that people didn't want to be my friends, so I felt a bit lonely.
Did you tell anyone about what was happening?
My mum knew a little bit about what was happening, but there were no guidance teachers in those days, and it was really expected that you got on with it yourself, you made the best of it, and you tried to re-establish friendships where you could.
How did you feel when you met up with your bully again?
I was in my 40s when I met up with my bully again, and to be quite honest, I still felt quite anxious. But by that stage, I was a confident adult, and I realised very quickly that it didn't matter, because the person didn't matter in any way. I wasn't trying to make a friend again, and I moved on very quickly from that.
As a guidance teacher, how do you deal with bullies?
Well, what I tend to do is, when somebody comes and tells me that they've been bullied, I sit and listen to them very carefully, and I take very detailed notes of what they're saying. I then go and interview everybody who's been involved in the bullying incident, and from there I have to make a decision. Sometimes it means that some people get punished, perhaps detentions, perhaps there's a phone call home to their parents. Sometimes we might have to involve other people, like the year head for example, or we might even, in very serious cases, if it's been a physical assault, or perhaps something to do with internet technology or mobile phones, we might even occasionally get the police involved. But we do take it very, very seriously, and we obviously have to make a judgment on the seriousness of each situation as they occur.
Thank you. Now over to Ryan.
We sent a survey around the school on school improvements. Our results showed that 396 people said that their toilets were needing improving. We also asked if we needed more seating areas, and the result to that was 335 people wanted more seating areas.
We also asked for more suggestions, and they included better seats in classrooms and a quiet corner outside so that people could go and read and have a chat. Now that was our results to our school improvement survey. Now over to Rachel.
China to ban smoking in public places. According to the Health Ministry, this regulation will come into place on the 1st of May this year.
including buses, restaurants and bars. But it still allows smoking in workplaces, but it is banned in hospitals and schools. Almost a quarter of China's population smokes, and more than 1 million people die every year of smoking-related illnesses. China has 350 million smokers who consume 2 trillion cigarettes a year. Smoking is fashionable in China, where it is an essential and mainly sociable touch for most jobs. Some people think the Chinese government has not been quick enough to stop smoking in the country. The new regulations have banned cigarette vending machines in some areas. They are also trying to spread the knowledge of the dangers of smoking by campaigning, so that will save about £2 million a year alone in China. I think this is a very good idea, but it will save lives and stop smoking reaching younger children, and it will save China a lot of money, so I hope this scheme works. This scheme is similar to the one we have in Scotland. It has helped us considerably in the economic crisis, so it has saved around 1.5 million lives in the past 4 years since the summer of 2007. Now over to Douglas.
Hello, my name is Douglas and I'm going to talk about overfishing. Greenpeace has recently asked Princess Tuna if they caught Nemo, would they kill him too? The reason for this is that lots of tuna companies use net fishing, which uses a number of small boats to pull a huge net around a shoal of tuna and back to the main boat. The net is pulled out of the water and dumped on board the ship. Along with the tuna, sharks, turtles and even dolphins are brought aboard, most of which die or are killed. This is not right and is not helping the species recover from overfishing. Lots of people agree and there has been lots of petitions signed. There's even been a TV programme about it, starring Q-Friendly Whittingstall of River Cottage. More locally, there is more than just this problem. Tons of good fish are discarded out at sea by trawlers because it's illegal for them to land more than they are permitted. This is putting a lot of fishermen out of business and forcing them to look for different work and give up fishing, sometimes that has been in their family for generations. But a recent legislation might change all of this. Some politicians think that the discards are not acceptable, but others don't think that this would be a good idea. But one problem is that fishermen could take advantage of this and catch more and more fish, making overfishing a big problem. And now over to the sports with Eve.
And here's today's sport. Last Friday it was Comet Relief. At our school we celebrated by having a non-uniform day, plus we had a staff versus pupils football match. It was a fantastic match with staff winning 4-1. The referee was Mr. Kirkpatrick, the head of geography department. The men of the match were Mr. Simpson, Mr. Anderson, Ewan Mitchell, Mr. Kerr, Mr. Sensu. They all played very well.
The sports offered at Blackgarry High School is an important subject to all the pupils at the school. We asked approximately 30 pupils to complete our survey about the sports available to pupils and what sports pupils participate in most. The results revealed that over 2% of pupils don't take part in any sports. Although the school offers a wide range of sports, pupils don't take part because the sports they enjoy most were not offered by the school as extracurricular clubs. So we asked the kids that don't take part in any sports what they wanted to be offered in the school. The most popular sports chosen by pupils were athletics and lacrosse. We asked PE teachers if it would be possible to start clubs in these areas. They said the athletics club would be starting after the Easter holidays, but it would be difficult to start the lacrosse club, as we would have to lose a club in order to start another one.
On Saturday the 19th of March, Rangers FC won the Cooperative Insurance Cup against their closest rivals Celtic FC by winning 2-1. Celtic were very disappointed, but all their players and fans were well behaved. Although Walter Smith was very happy with the result, he was also sad because this would be his last Cooperative Insurance Cup final game in charge of Rangers FC. One thing you might not know is that Dundee FC have broken their club record with a run of 22 games unbeaten. They have done incredibly well and hope to keep up their good form.
Physical education teacher is a popular career choice for many children, so we found out how some of the PE teachers at Blackgarry High School decided to become PE teachers themselves and what they enjoy about their jobs. One of the three teachers, Mr. Simpson, said that he decided to take a career in teaching PE after he left school, while the others said that they always wanted to be PE teachers, because they enjoy being active, competitive, and coming up with new and fun ways to get people enjoying sports so they can keep fit and healthy.
Over to the weather.
Hello and welcome to the BBC Weather, Blairgowrie High School style. Today up in Orkney, it's sunny with some rainy and cloudy spells.
Today in northwest Scotland we have rain with some clouds and sun.
Today in Blairgowrie, it's sunny at temperatures of 12 Celsius.
Over in Wales, however, we have some clouds with gusts of wind.
Today in London, it's sunny with some cloudy spells. And that's the weather.
Hi, my name's Sarah, and finally, today is Harry Houdini's 137th birthday, and to commemorate his work, someone has escaped from a straitjacket hanging from Rita, one of the highest roller coasters at Alton Towers.